Video, we'll talk through Lesson 2, Breaking Ionic Bonds Lab Activity. Again, we want to click on the CT STEM website. We navigate through the website to get to the lesson. Lesson 2 is called Breaking Ionic Bonds Lab Activity. So you will observe and record temperature changes when dissolving an ionic compound in water. Recall that an ionic compound is composed of cations and anions in specific proportions to create a neutral ionic compound. If that's something that you think you need a little bit of a review on, like what an ionic compound is, please make sure you're going back to the chemistry schedule and click here on vocabulary review. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. If you're not seeing this pop up, okay, go back to chemistry schedule. I'm going to add this in right here. Okay, I made a video. I'm just going to post it right here. So if you are on page 1 not seeing this and you're not sure how to see this, go back to that link as well. Okay, so this first page says you will test the following ionic compounds: aluminum nitrate, potassium chloride, ammonium chloride, sodium chloride, and sodium nitrate. We will set the amount of compound to 3 grams. We will leave the amount of water in the beaker at 20 milliliters. We will record the initial temperature of the water below. And this is the actual starting. Okay, so for the first ionic compound, you'll notice that we have ammonium nitrate. So here I want to type in the amount of compound. So the amount of compound is 3 grams. So I already have the G appear in the title. So I'm just going to put a 3. The amount of water is 20 milliliters. So I put a 20. And my initial water temperature is about 24 grams. Or I'm sorry, 24 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I'm going to select ammonium nitrate, toggle this to 3, and then click Start in order to add the ionic compound to water. So a graph will appear as the temperature changes, and we want to record the greatest difference in temperature from starting temperature of water and ionic compound mixture. Okay, so click Start. And it's still processing. And you'll notice that it's starting to get flat. And when it gets flat, you'll also see that we have this here. It says done. Okay, so the final temperature, so 13 point, keeps kind of fluctuating between 13.76 and 13.80. So I'm going to put in the middle 13.76. And then for the temperature change, you actually want to do the math, 24 minus 13.76, and we end up getting 10.24. Okay. Now, you'll notice that we have 3 different pages here, and this will become a little bit more, or 4 different pages here. This will become a little bit more clear once we start to click through them. This is just investigation part 1. In investigation part 1, we have 3 grams of one substance, 20 grams of water. That's something that's really important, and that's something that you want to make a note of down here in your actual notes. So investigation part 1. Investigation part 1, we have 3 grams of compound plus 20 milliliters of water. Okay. Now, these notes will appear on every page of the lesson. For me, since I'm viewing this as like a view only, it doesn't do that. So I'm going to copy this and actually put it into this Google Doc. You should not have to do that though, because for you, it's going to actually populate on each page. Okay. So that's what we did in investigation 1. And you'll go through all of these different ionic compounds. And then we'll go to page 2. Okay, so investigation 2.A. Okay, so for 2.A, we're going to vary the amount of ionic compound. So again, down here is where you would want to kind of make that note. down here that that's what you're doing. So you're going to want to pick one of these, okay? It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you pick one, and then you're going to vary the amount of ionic compound. So I'm just going to make a note that in investigation 2.A, we varied the amount of ionic compound, and we still had 20 milliliters of water. And again, you would be writing this down in the note section at the very bottom. Okay, so you'll go through those and then we'll answer these two questions. So how did decreasing the amount of ionic compound affect your recorded temperature change? So what you want to think through for this question is, as you increased the amount of compound, what happened to the temperature change? Okay, did the temperature change also increase? Did the temperature change decrease? What happened there? Okay, and then why is it important to keep 20 milliliters of water for investigation 2A? So also kind of start to think through that. Okay, investigation 2B, we are varying the amount of water. So again, I'm just making a note of that. And we are keeping the compound, we have 3 grams, oops, and this is all underlined, 3 grams of compound. And we're varying the amount of water. So same thing, you're going to pick, you want to pick the exact same ionic compound as you picked in 2A. Okay, so 2A and 2B have the same compound. So whatever compound you picked for 2A, make sure you pick the same compound for 2B. And again, you will do the same thing. So amount of compound is going to be 3 grams for each. The amount of water is what you're going to actually vary. And again, you're asking to what, as you increase the water, what happened to the temperature change? Then you have two different questions that are at the end here. We have these terms, endothermic, exothermic. These terms, you want to, if you are unfamiliar with those terms, please use Google, okay? Google is our friend here. These are terms we probably would have gone over in class, but you can use Google to define these terms, okay? Just try your best with these questions. We want to kind of see where your thinking is at, okay? And let us know if there are any additional questions.